Gold and silver seem to have moved into hyperdrive mode, and there's not much sign of them slowing down anytime soon. We're going to talk about what happened today with both gold and silver and the prospects for what is to come, especially with silver. Let's discuss it all as we explore. That's right, gold and silver are picking up steam. In fact, silver is the best performing precious metal today by a long shot. It's been a wild ride indeed. Before I get into the prices of gold and silver, first I want to remind you of channel sponsor Summit Metals. Whether you want to buy precious metals or sell precious metals, they are there to help you. And with personalized customer service and fast shipping, elevate your wealth with Summit Metals. So what's happening here in the precious metals market? Well, indeed, we're seeing the markets move in an unprecedented record amount here for gold, but there's something else unprecedented that's going on too, and we witnessed it in part in last night's live stream. Every Sunday night, I do a live stream, for those of you who don't know, when we watch the markets as they open up in Asia. It's been something that I've been doing, and it's the only precious metals channel that does it. And we saw the Kitco, which is the premier place to look for spot price of gold and silver, acting very glitchy, in fact, freezing up from time to time. Well, it's been pretty much down all day, Kitco's website. However, their mobile site is working just fine, so I'm able to report to you the precious metal prices. Gold is up 1.68% today to $3,748. That's right. We're about very close to $50 away from $3,800 gold. It's just amazing how fast it's moving. That change is a $62 move today. Although, because of the high price, it only accounts for 1.68% increase. Silver, on the other hand, has moved up almost $1. In fact, it did climb up more than $1 earlier in the day. And that accounts for an over 2.2% move. In fact, it's at 2.27% right now. Silver is sitting at $44.10. And the bid price is $43.99. So for a large part here of the day, we saw it above $44 even in the bid price. So it's right at the cusp here of hitting it. Now, for those of you who partook in the live stream last night, the Sunday Night Market Watch, I did a poll asking whether you thought we would see $44 silver by the end of the week. Well, we're already there. Well over 75% of you, I believe, if my memory serves, felt that we were going to see $44 by Friday. Well, it came early. It came today, that's for sure, with moments before the market's closing. Now, it's pulling back somewhat, but there is still a 12-cent difference in the spread. That means that there is still some volatility in the markets, but it is something that is manageable. And so that's what we're seeing here with the spread staying at 12 cents. Platinum and palladium have also increased today, but not as much, although palladium has just picked up today. It's up over 2.9% right now, so it's up to 12.07. But nonetheless, platinum is also up as well, 1% to 14.28. But gold and silver, the metals we're watching, and that's why I have these two green sports cars here to show you, hey, it's on fire, in the green, in the up, and they're moving up. And yes, I want to find an excuse to showcase these cars. I must confess, I'm like a kid at heart, so I've got to pull out the little Hot Wheels from time to time and to make them relevant, to make me feel like I'm a kid again. Okay, you can blame me all you want, it's all right, but there they are. But it does have some relevance here. But you know what? Gold is on fire, silver's on fire, and it's a pretty amazing ride we're seeing here. So I'm going to be referencing a story here in part, which is sort of telling us a lot of the same things that we've held before. And I think, in a sense, this is why I don't think we're going to see it slow down as long as we're continuing to see the same metrics play out. What are those metrics? Well, we saw gold rising to another all-time high as persistent political uncertainty and expectations of more U.S. interest rate cuts continue to fuel demand for the metal, according to mining.com. And so that is what's happening. Same things as before. A lot of political uncertainty, not only domestically, but more importantly, geopolitically around the world. And we're starting to see U.S. gold futures also rising up as well. And with Monday's move, gold has now risen by more than 41% in 2025. That's amazing. Central bank purchases and strong investment demand remain the key drivers of this rally, which could be traced back as far as 2022 when the Russia-Ukraine war broke out. In fact, with the interest rate cuts as well as these geopolitical factors, in a sense, with gold, we are in the next phase of its bull run. Now, pretty much what I had predicted in a video that I recorded yesterday. I'll link to that in the end screen of this video, so I hope you will check that out. And so this is pretty amazing as we see metals, the data that we're coming from Metals Focus. Net purchases by global central banks have exceeded 1,000 metric tons each year since 2022. And remember, in 2022 and 2023, we started covering the central bank purchases, and ever since then, gold has skyrocketed over the course of the time. The consultancy expects them to maintain this strong buying and add another 900 tons this year, twice the annual average of 450 tons during 2016 and 2021. And remember, gold is up so high precisely because it's treasured. Many people think that's a negative for gold compared to silver, but I think it's precisely exactly the reason why gold has been outperforming silver for so long. Obviously now we're seeing that change as gold is outperforming. In fact, I'm not able to see the gold to silver ratio because the app doesn't have that, but likely it's probably in the 84 range probably now. But nonetheless, that's what we're seeing here. Now, a typical seasonal dip in UK gold buying, central bank demand has rebounded to 63 tons, matching the post-2022 average and adding to the bullish sentiment, according to Societe Generale, mentioned here just today. Gold exchange traded funds also are seeing continued inflows, with total holdings standing at 3,615.9 tons at the end of June, the largest since August of 2022, according to estimates from the World Gold Council. Their record was 3,915 tons 5 years ago. There's a continued flow of safe haven demand amid geopolitical matters that are still kind of wobbly, including the Russia-Ukraine war, according to Jim Wyckoff. Last week's Fed interest rate cut and probably more Fed rate cuts coming at the end of the year are also supporting the prices. Investors are closely watching a series of Fed speeches that are coming this week, including remarks by Jerome Powell, the chair of the Federal Reserve. That's coming tomorrow, for fresh signals on the central bank's monetary policy path. The U.S. core personal consumption expenditure price data will be due out this Friday, will be in focus. Remember, that PCE data could make or break or could determine whether or not we're going to have a Friday smackdown. A lot of these data come out on a Friday, and I think that is a contributing factor, I feel, for some of the smackdowns we have been seeing. In other words, we can't blame it all on price suppression, although some of that could be entailed in that. But nonetheless, silver just keeps on moving. It's a much cheaper alternative to gold. It's a safe haven investment, but it has also been soaring as of late. We saw the price move to $44 per ounce for a new 14-year high. And in 14 years, I'll tell you what, that is right around 2011. So in other words, we're going to keep continuing to see 14-year highs all the way through $50. And then it's going to go back to 1980. And if it goes above that, then it will be more than that. But remember, $50 silver is very different in 2025 than it was in 2011. And certainly very different than it was back in 1980. So we have to keep that in mind too, because of something, that pesky little thing called inflation. And inflation-adjusted silver would need to rise up well above triple digits, well above $200 in order for it to reach that all-time high. Silver may yet find fresh upside as investors cast their sights beyond record-high gold prices, according to Han Tan, chief market analyst at Nemo Money. with the gold to silver ratio currently around 85, maybe a little bit lower now, still above its 5-year average of 82, silver may have yet more room to catch up on its more illustrious precious metals cousin. That is a big deal, folks, because I think sooner or later, gold may be out of reach for some folks, and then they start make moves into silver. And we may see that in the ETF world because they may not see as much upside for gold as they do silver. They're going to look at that gold to silver ratio from a psychological standpoint to make that decision. Watch out for that. That could be a contributing factor, a big one, for silver reaching $50. Yes, and as you know, I've been much more open-minded to $50 silver as we continue to see these big steep climbs and not much sign of slowing down. But remember, I still think there's going to be some consolidation from time to time. We could see a pullback and erase all of these gains. But right now, I feel a little different than the last time we saw a pullback. In other words, the last time we saw a pullback, I thought it could be the beginning of a deeper cut and a consolidation, a longer consolidation for a while. We did not see that. I've not done an updated price prediction video. Probably won't do one, honestly, just because we're kind of late in the year now. But honestly, all bets are off the table. But I think next time we see the price of silver pull back, down to maybe even 3% in one day, I'm not going to be all that worried about it. I think it could recover quickly again, just like it did last week. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking now. In other words, I think there's more sentiment for silver recovering and recapturing some of those losses and to gain and move in the upward direction. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. I hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. I like to provide news updates in the world of precious metals analysis, a little fun here and there. And so if you like what I do here, I hope you will consider subscribing to the channel. And thanks again to all of those who subscribed recently, and more importantly, all of those of you who have been subscribed for many years. I appreciate you so much as we reached a milestone now of 100,000 subscribers. But we don't want to stop there. We want to keep growing if we can. So please share this video with others. And with that, I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.